Good afternoon. This is Lynn Everard with part two of a three-part video series on the effective communication ecosystem. In our first video, we talked about knowing your why. And in this video, we're going to talk about the second component of the system, and that is speak your truth. Now, sometimes people think that speaking their truth is just dumping on another person, but I can assure you that it's not. What you see behind me is the blown out side of Mount St. Helens when it erupted many years ago. And I happened to be living in Portland, Oregon at the time, and walked through the ash-filled air on the afternoon of the day that it happened. It was actually May 18th of 1980. And it was a really crazy day to see people walking around in filtration masks so they wouldn't breathe in the ash. But the reason that I show this photo is because sometimes for many of us, we carry so much of our truth around in us because we've spent so much time telling ourselves a story that we can't speak our truth. And it comes out with the power and the force of an erupting volcano. The problem with that is that if we do that, the person we're trying to speak our truth to never hears our truth. All they hear is our anger. All they hear is our frustration. All they hear is that somehow they did something to be in the direct line of fire for all of the rage and anger that comes out in us. You've maybe heard a phrase, something like that people say, speaking truth to power. But the truth is that your truth is the power. You don't have to speak truth to power. That power is not on the outside of you. The power is within you. The challenge for us, for so many of us, is that we feel hesitant to speak our truth because we're afraid that we will be criticized, that we'll be blamed, shamed, judged, and perhaps even rejected or abandoned. And so we keep it all inside. And then, just like the pressure starts to build in a volcano, the truth comes out, because the truth always has to come out. But it's our choice as to how it comes out. And so we can either be out of control when our truth comes out, or we can learn to speak our truth a little at a time as it comes up within us. The reason that this is so important as a part of the effective communication ecosystem is that once we have created the container for the conversation, for the communication, the next step then is to look at the content of our communication. And the content of our communication is us speaking our truth. Now, if you've been burying your truth, if you've been swallowing your truth, if you've been living in the fear of someone else abandoning you or mistreating you or judging you or criticizing you or rejecting you, that's the first step. Because the first step is in learning to speak your truth to yourself. See, one of the truths about speaking our truth is that for most of us, the person we lie to most in our lives is not our partner. It is not our children. It is not our boss. It is not the person down the street. It's not the person at the grocery store. It's us. We are the person we lie to most. And so our journey to learning to speak our truth begins with discovering the truth of us. And once we do that and start speaking our truth to ourselves, which means being honest with ourselves, it means we stop lying to ourselves. And once we do that and are able to speak our truth in a loving, compassionate way, or as I like to say, speaking our truth from our innocence to the innocence of the person we're speaking to. Once we've learned how to do that, then we would be ready for the next step of being able to speak our truth to another person. But until we have done that, it's going to be very, very difficult, because we will fight with ourselves over whether or not we should say anything, because we have all of these stories made up in our heads about why it's not safe or right or effective for us to speak our truth. But when we don't speak our truth, then it starts to bury itself within us, and we risk an explosion, an eruption like the volcano you see behind me, that can be so damaging and destroy the person we're speaking our truth to, and destroy our connection to them, and destroy our relationship with them. That's not effective. That's not going to help us in our lives. So again, our first step is learning to speak our truth to ourselves. And then once we do that, we can start to look at how we speak our truth to others. If you'd like to know more about this, if you'd like to know more about how you can begin to speak your truth to yourself and stop lying to yourself, perhaps if you're watching this and you're thinking right now you're going to turn it off because, oh, this couldn't possibly be you, I'd like to challenge you to stop for a moment and realize that in doing that, you may actually be lying to yourself right now. So if you are someone that knows that you need to learn how to speak your truth, I invite you to reach out. As you may know, I'm the author of the book, How Speaking Your Truth Could Save Your Life, and How It Saved Mine. And writing that book was a journey for me into being able to speak my truth more effectively. And now I'm able to share with others how to go about doing that. So again, if this is an area you struggle with, I invite you to reach out to me, and we can help you get on the road to being able to speaking your truth, so that it doesn't, when it comes out finally, so that it doesn't cause devastation and damage, not only to the people around you, but to you yourself. With that, I will wish you a good day. And again, feel free to reach out to me. I can share with you some ideas, some programs that I have that would be able to help you to be able to speak your truth. Thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day.